Coruscant. I'm Boffi, and I'm with Poffi. Hi, Poffi.
Hi, Boffi. Looking good?
It's morning here in Coruscant, and all's good in the Galactic Empire. Are you ready for tonight's show, Poffi?
Oh, Boffi, I am ready and raring to go. Let's go for it, my lovely.
On tonight's show. Let's see what we've got coming up first. Coming up first, we're talking Andor and those horrible, horrible Ghormans. And we're going to learn how they made that horrible, vile language of theirs, Poffi.
And then LucasArts' classic Star Wars Supremacy is now available for free, and apparently that's blown up Fantatracty's website.
It is. You can be just like Grand Moff Tarkin and bring peace and justice to the galaxy.
It's what we all need, Brian. Oh, sorry. Boffi.
Boffi. Carrie-Anne Moss has been talking the Acolyte and her disgusting, horrible Jedi scum character of Master Indara, and how she thought that her dying early on in the Acolyte wouldn't be such a big deal.
It was. Gareth Edwards is on the talking about the perception of Rogue One and just how much that he really appreciates that people still love that film so much.
I just love the big explosion right at the end. Beautiful.
I know you do.
We're going to be heading to San Diego Comic-Con early to find out all the Hallmark exclusives, including some beautiful Sith items.
Celebrating the very, very beautiful dark side. Coca-Cola and Star Wars have come together to refresh the galaxy with a whole range of collectible cans and bottles featuring some beautiful artwork of Darth Vader. We love the Vader.
You can have a little sup of Darth Vader. How lovely. Jon Watts has been talking the potential of a second season of Skeleton Crew. He would love to make more Star Wars. I would love to see more Star Wars series that show the Jedi for the traitors that they truly are.
And we recap and review Andor Season 2, Episode 5, which has got a big connection to us, I believe.
It does, surprisingly. Can you guess what it might be? It's going to showcase those horrible, horrible rebel traitors for who they truly are. And of course, first in the comments, Mr. Paul McHugh, Webby Award incoming. Definitely. Has to be. Poffi, are you excited to be presenting the first ever Good Morning Coruscant?
Boffi, it has been my life's ambition to sit here with you, looking as beautiful as we do this evening, this morning. Good night.
All I can say is, when Tony Gilroy steals our concept, we steal his back.
It's only right and just. That's what we've done.
That's very true indeed. Should we check out what's coming up first in the news items?
Yeah.
And first up, we're talking those horrible, horrible Ghormans. Disgusting people, Poffi. But we learn how their language was created.
Yeah, I can't understand a word they say, but they look dirty, don't they?
They do. You know, what kind of planet celebrates spiders of all creatures?
Oh, no.
I wouldn't wear their silks, that's for sure. But the dialect coach and language creator, Marina Tyndall, she's been talking about what they did to give them a Gallic-sounding language, very much French, which...
It did. Yeah. I mean, it did sound very French. The whole thing felt very French resistance, which I'm sure that's exactly what it was meant to.
Yeah. Good morning
Hello,
to Gonkler as well
Gonk.
on YouTube. The French, terrible people, you know. They give up very easily, the French. The Ghormans, you know, they dragged it out for a few years, delaying the Emperor's glorious, big, beautiful energy project. You know, it's a sad thing, you know.
It's whether you're a West Ghorman or an East Ghorman. That depends on how tough you are. That's what it's all about.
That's very true. But yeah, French was very much the foundation for the Ghorman language. And Tyndall, as the dialect coach, helped construct that language. They used a lot of French actors in the scenes as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Was it something that impressed you when watching the show?
I think what it was, it came off the back not too long ago on an article that I'd read about why is it that everybody speaks English stroke basic. So the fact that they actually had humans, or rather a large group of people from a planet talking a completely different language, I suppose was refreshing in a way. And I think it did add a certain power to the scenes when they were sort of protesting and marching and even singing. Yeah, I don't think it would have had quite the emotion behind it had it have just been in English. So yeah, I think it worked well.
Next up on the news front, Star Wars Supremacy. Beautiful game, PC game from back in the day, and it's kind of blown up quite as a big story on Fantha Tracks. People loving the fact that this game's free, courtesy of Amazon. I don't know if it's a Jeff Bezos wedding present or not. But the article stuck there. Released in 1998, as I said, for the PC. You can be just like Grand Moff Tarkin, bring peace, justice, as it says on the cover of the game, to control a world, to command a galaxy. You know, and
well, what a beautiful, beautiful concept.
It is, yes. And
Have we got a trailer here? Have we got something we can watch? Or?
We don't. There was never a trailer released for it, but if you check out the link in the show notes, there is a couple of playthrough videos of the game. Very much a strategy game. Very much going to be reminiscent of the Star Wars game that they've got coming up. Later this year, and people have been talking about the idea of a strategy game coming back to the Star Wars Galaxy gaming, and so I think a lot of people are excited that this has got a re-release. Those that are not familiar with it being called Star Wars Supremacy, also released under the title Star Wars Rebellion. Horrible rebels. But we'll call it Star Wars Supremacy because, you know, that's what the Galactic Empire is all about, is supremacy.
I don't think I've ever played this game. Have you?
I did back in the day. I'm not very much of a PC gamer, and this is one of the very few games that I actually did play on PC.
No, I remember the typeface. I remember seeing it about, but it's not something I played on at the time.
No. But yeah, definitely one that's very popular over at fanthrax.com this week. People excited to see it back. Next up on the news front, some news about some Jedi scum. Horrible, horrible people. And in the Acolyte was Jedi Master Indara, played by Carrie-Anne Moss. And if you remember the Acolyte, I know some people try not to, but if you do, her character was killed off effectively in the first episode. And then she reappeared in flashbacks throughout the series after then. And there was a lot of heated reaction online at the time to her character being killed off in that first episode. And she spoke out about that reaction now, that she didn't anticipate any kind of sort of big reaction or negative reaction. That for her, she was there to serve the writers and the directors. Wasn't something she foresaw would be an issue. Did you think it was an issue, her character dying off in the first episode?
I think, for me, probably the biggest issue with the Acolyte was the fact that they did mess around with the running order of it all. I think if they'd have just played the story from point A to point B rather than jumping all over the place, I think it might have been easier for people to have digested. That probably for me was the weakest part of the show, because when it's characters that you know and care about it and they're already established, you can kind of do that. It kind of worked okay for me in the Book of Boba Fett, but for this, because these were a whole new sort of tranche of characters that none of us had any sort of history with, to do that just didn't make sense to me. You may as well just played it straight.
It overcomplicated things, didn't it?
It did. It overcomplicated it.
Yeah. If you're a fan of the actress Carrie-Anne Moss, you can actually see her in season 2 of the Netflix series, starring opposite Arnold Schwarzenegger, named after the Chandrilan senator. It's called Fubar. A quite good program, in fact, on Netflix. If you're a Netflix subscriber,
not seeing that. No, I mean I saw Fubar. I thought straight away of Robin Williams in Flubber, but that clearly isn't what it's a sequel to. No, I'll check that out.
An interesting article, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And next up on the news front, some news about the impending San Diego Comic-Con 2025. We get first sight of some Hallmark exclusives coming to the show. We're just under a month away. San Diego Comic-Con takes place from the 24th to 27th of July. Hallmark will be there as ever, and they're going to bring 3 exclusives to the show. First up, the Java vintage figure ornament, for those of you that are into the Hallmark kind of Christmas tree type gifts, which I think is a much bigger thing in America than it is over here in the land of Coruscant.
Yeah, these are cute though. I do like these. There's the Darth Vader one came out last year, and so yeah, it's nice to see they're carrying on with the first 12. So yeah, that would be cool.
Dirty little Jawas. Much nicer, and something I would have in my tree. It's a wonderful Darth Nihilus at $30 from Knights of the Old Republic. The 2004 video game. Fantastic character. And you could have that adorning your Christmas tree as you celebrate the festivities.
I'd put him on the top.
And last but not least, in the exclusives for San Diego, is a Darth Vader enamel pin.
Yeah, not so keen on that.
No. A controversial character. Started off well in his career and, but had a terrible ending.
Yeah. Family fallout, I believe.
Sander there in the comments. I don't know what he means by this. You better wear this cosplay next weekend during London Film at Comic-Con. I won't be there, Sander. I shan't be attending LFCC this year.
I'll be in Spain. Sorry.
No, you're right. It's just on your own, Sander. You may meet our next guest. We're going to be bringing to the show, in a little segment we're calling Emperor and Friends, from fantatrax.com. Mr. If I can find it, here we go. Emperor and Friends. Mr. Mark Newbold, welcome to the show.
There he is.
Hello, guys, or ladies, I should say. Looking fine tonight.
Thank you very much.
Wow.
Sander was just talking there about London Film and Comic Con.
Yes. Yes, I shall be there. I'm hosting a panel on Saturday with Gerald Prescott, one of the Night Sisters from Ahsoka Season 1. So that should be fun. So everybody pile in. I'm going to throw some interesting questions at her. And yes, I'll definitely see Sander there. Looking forward to it, but not as much as I'm looking forward to this conversation.
Well, as always on Empire and Friends, we like to bring in people who are well known in the community so we can discuss the wonderful goings on in society brought by the glorious Galactic Empire and get your thoughts on what's going on. And obviously at this moment in time we've got a lot of problems going on with the Ghormans and the Alderaanians and the Chandrillans. And I just wondered, out of those three groups of people, who do you despise the most and why?
Well, it's a smorgasbord of hate if I really want to drill into it. I mean, the Chandrillans, that whole rave thing just feels a bit redundant, so I'm not mad keen on that. Alderaan, I mean, everybody just seems to retreat to Alderaan whenever things get hot, and basically now it's just
Very
pile of rubble now. Yeah, it's really hot now. And Ghorman, the whole thing with the spiders. So I suppose I would say out of the three, with hate being on a grade of 1, 2, and 3, I would probably say right now the Ghormans, because that whole spider thing is really creepy. So I'm picking the Ghormans. I think.
Yeah,
right
the spiders is creepy. There's no denying it.
Yeah.
I don't like spiders. No.
Poffi, would you pick the Ghormans as well?
I would. I don't like spiders. They get in my hair. Oh, no.
Yeah.
You don't want to find them nesting in your
You don't want to be
your,
picking up a silk dress made from Ghorman silk and there still be a spider running across it.
You pick your own dresses up. If I want to pick up a silk dress from Ghorman, I will.
Speaking of dresses, I've got to say, Boffi, we are actually wearing very similar attire tonight. I hate it when we clash.
There's my issue really with the Alderaanians. I'm ignoring you.
He's totally ignoring.
My issue with the Alderaanians is they don't believe in democracy. Like Emperor Palpatine, who was democratically elected, and all of his powers that he controls has been democratically given to him. You know, I'm a big believer in democracy. The Alderaanians, with them being a royal family, have just appointed themselves to the Senate. They haven't earned their way. They haven't been voted into the Senate.
That's an interesting perspective. I mean, it's kind of redundant now. I know it's probably too soon to say that, but my goodness, wow! Look at that comment.
Blondes do have more fun.
I do, Ruth. I definitely do.
So yeah, I'm picking Ghorman, but there's plenty to go around for Chandrilla and Alderaan.
Yeah, I have a sneaky feeling that the Chandrillans kind of get away a little bit with how their leaders behave.
Yeah,
I think it's because they have wealth and power. So, you know,
They really
haven't been punished like the Ghormans and the Alderaanians. They've had a good punishment over the years. Really need to stamp down a little bit more on the Chandrillans. Maybe
they're next.
You mean stamp down as in send a fleet of Star Destroyers and bomb the food around it?
just to ensure authority is upheld, democracy is upheld.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, their travel industry imploded quite recently, didn't it?
It literally imploded.
Yes. Yeah. So it's beginning. It's going to happen.
That's very true.
Nothing says democracy like a two-chamber reaction. It's definitely.
You know, what is your favourite kind of punishment? Is it? Do you like to see a planet pop like Alderaan? Do you like to see it bubble a little bit like Jeddah, or do you just like just land a Star Destroyer or a cruiser? I believe it was, like they did at Ghorman, just to assert authority when people step out of line.
You know, if this was a buffet, I would be very full right now because you've just described. I mean, I like the bubbling Jeddah description, which I assume you might because it's kind of like turning over the soil. So there's a benefit to that. Yeah. The poofing of Alderaan is very distinct. So I wouldn't say no to that. I also like the way that Kijimi kind of crumbled as it went. Notice all the hand movements. But I don't know. What would be my Hosnian Prime was a pretty good one.
That's true. That's a good show.
That was a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. I just don't think you can beat Grand Moff Tarkin just landing in the middle of the plaza.
Yeah.
It's very targeted, very direct. It has a really impactful behaviour. You know, people remember it years later.
Yeah, they built monuments to it. I mean, that was a moment.
The guy
just
got a promotion.
He didn't have a parking permit.
The guy got a promotion, over the heads of it. Didn't get promoted after Alderaan or...
I'm disappointed that he never changed his name to Grand Moff Tarkin. I mean, that would have made way more sense.
That's a good shout. That's a very good shout.
Give the man a ticket.
Poffi, do you have a favourite punishment dished out to the disobedient locals?
I quite liked it when those rebel scum were coming towards our beloved second Death Star, and we just fired off enough just to let them know that it was fully armed and operational. That was just sort of like, be careful, guys, because we're going to blow Endor up.
Yeah, but Poffi, I've got to say, the last time you shouted "Die Rebel, die" at somebody, they turned up the next morning a platinum blonde, so it's not quite the same thing, is it?
No, but look at the job they did. It's fantastic. This time last week, I had very short hair, so these extensions, brilliant. The staples hurt, but brilliant.
Last question to you. Frequently we get tales and stories about the Jedi and their so-called peace and justice, but there's never been an occasion where they don't use violence. There's never been an occasion where they actually put something to a vote or bring it to a court. It always ends in violence. By comparison, you never hear these kind of stories about the Sith. They just get on and they do their business, in a very clear and subtle manner, and that always ends up in democratic votes. I just wondered, do you have a favourite Sith?
A favourite Sith? I would probably say... I'd probably say Darth Maul. Because I know he's half the man he used to be, but he got an awful lot done in the time that he had. I'm still waiting for the bottom half to come back. I still think if the top half's running Crimson Dawn, the bottom half's running Black Sun, something's going to happen. So I would say Darth Maul is my favourite Sith because he was a doer.
Good shout. Poffi?
I'm going to go Darth Tyrannus. Because never a more duplicitous person could you wish to meet. What a wonderful, balanced character that was. And long will he be missed.
I share that opinion, although I prefer to call him Count Dooku.
Exactly.
Because you like saying Dooku.
Can't beat saying Dooku.
Bless you.
And anyone called the Count deserves great praise in my world. And most importantly, he saw the error of his ways in supporting the Jedi faith and corrected it and became a Sith, an intelligent man even in his elder years.
Bobbing in a jar.
And towards the end, he was harmless enough, wasn't he?
He was. In terms of things that you can't obviously ever beat Emperor Palpatine, what he did, and saving the galaxy from that evil army that the Jedi were creating, and turning it into a beautiful, eventually an imperial army fit for the first Galactic Empire. So you can never beat that. But,
and who's paying for all this stuff?
What's that?
Who's paying for all this stuff?
I know. Well, I like to
Where's
think
the
that
money coming from?
I like to think that there's a lot of money saved by ending the farce that was the Jedi. Mm-hmm. They were being funded by government. Just end that whole thing. Cut that off. It's a little bit like the civil service. You could get rid of a lot of them, and it made no impact to the galaxy at all.
Zero.
You went from
I agree.
How many? 50, 60,000 Jedi to 2 Sith. Never seen an impact at all in services. What's that tell you?
Can't argue with that.
It's like Earth politics all over again.
It's almost like Earth politics. Mr. Newball, thank you for joining us on
my pleasure.
This week's Empire and Friends.
I have to say, though, that's the least convincing wig of the three of us.
Thank you. I do try. It sticks on.
And we'll go back to the remainder of Good Morning Coruscant. Poffi, always nice to have Mr. Newbold on the show.
What a lovely young man.
Yes, some people seem surprised by this week's show. Big Kev there, not quite sure what's going on. But I suggest we carry on with the news. Let's not try to explain ourselves at all.
No.
And Coca-Cola, refresh your galaxy. A beautiful example of a Sith there in Kylo Ren, and a traitorous rebel scum on the opposite side as well. Are you a fan of Coke? Have you taken some today?
Am I a fan of Coke? Yes, I do like a Coke Zero.
Excellent. Anything else that you might acquire from Kessel, or anything you want to admit to?
Thank you. I do like spicy knickknacks. Does that count?
Spicy knickknacks are good. Look at that disgusting Ahsoka there.
I know, terrible.
Anakin let us down in the end.
He showed promise, didn't he? Yeah,
he did.
Yeah.
I think that's Boba Fett. Droids.
Are these going to be
Who would
available?
want a droid? Disgusting terrorist on your bottle there.
Do we know yet,
A
Brian?
walking carpet.
Are these going to be available in the UK? Do we know that yet?
I doubt it. These things tend to be purely for America.
Gee.
There we go. A beautiful Darth Maul there. Would we like to check out the advert that ran for this?
It's very good. It's very good. Let's watch it again. Yeah, excellent. Hang up.
I've been waiting for you, Obi-Wan. We meet again.
Mr. McHugh advising us that they're going to launch globally on the 7th of July, apart from 3 exclusives that will only be available at the Disney parks.
Thanks for that, Paul.
The ones that are only available at the Disney parks, for those keeping count, is the Mandalorian and Grogu, a First Order Stormtrooper, all hail the Stormtroopers, and Chewbacca, the big walking carpet, so nobody would want that one, that's for sure. And you can also scan the can to get access to a Galactic AR experience where you can learn more about the campaign and the collector character designs.
Yeah.
And for those of you who've always wanted to send your very own hologram transmission, you're in luck, because this is where the fun begins. Record a message of love, hope, community, you name it. That's all kind of rebel scum kind of messages. And your message will be transformed into a Star Wars style hologram you can share with friends and family in this galaxy. So, if you buy some Coke in July, make a video and send it to @FantaTracks on social media. And if you happen to buy a Coca-Cola, do the same. I actually preferred the 1999 Pepsi campaign because it also included Walker's Crisps, and you got the little cardboard things as well.
The Tazos.
The little Tazos, that's the word.
Yeah. Those happy days, and the Pepsi cans that came in the droid troop transporter. There was one. In fact, I think I was with Jonathan from FantaTracks when he bought one of those. Pretty impressive thing.
Yeah. You're going to want to collect them all, aren't you, Mark? Really, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Want the ones from the parks.
Yeah.
The 99 campaign was fantastic with the drink cups at Taco Bell and KFC as well. That's very true.
Yeah.
They are actually offering the stands. There's going to be a whole selection of stand designs as well, including palette-sized stand displays as well, multiple palette-sized displays as well. So if you're into collecting your Star Wars food items, you're going to have quite a task on your hand to get your hands on all the displays as well as the goods.
We all know Gus will have everything.
Yeah.
Do you think if they're doing them as exclusively at Disney parks, I take it that will include the one in Paris?
Well, no, obviously not.
Better go with
I believe it's. I'm going to rewind back up the site there. I believe it's Disney World Resort and Disneyland Resort.
Disneyland. Boo.
Yeah. And I always forget which one's which. But Disneyland is Orlando.
That's right, yeah.
Because it's got land in it. And
the
other one's California.
Yeah.
That's the way to learn it.
Stalagmites.
It was a bit of a surprising announcement. There was no kind of expectation for a campaign. It seems an odd timing for it as well, because there's no actual...
I thought that.
There's no actual product out. If it had come out at the time Andor was on air, it would have kind of made sense.
Yeah.
But, what do we know? These big corporates apparently know better.
Of course they do.
Yeah.
Right.
Comes at a time, just as I'm told I'm no longer allowed to drink sugary goods as well.
Surely something will
I got it
become
right the
zero.
wrong way. World is Orlando, land is Anaheim. There we go. Don't listen to a word I tell you.
No, we don't. We don't generally.
Yeah. So that was the big news this week. But as well as the big news, we've heard from Jon Watts, who was one of the creators on the Skeleton Crew. He's issued the statement that he would like to do more with the Skeleton Crew. He would love a season 2. He would like to do more Star Wars. He loves Star Wars. He would like to make more Star Wars. I can't say anything more. We always get in trouble when we do these interviews. I always say something and I get in trouble. Like I probably should have said that. You're going to get me in trouble. So poor Jon Watts, potentially going to get killed off now for spilling the beans.
I don't think that'll happen now.
Skeleton Crew season 2 potentially. No, he's obviously got a desire to do more. I think they probably haven't decided. the whole streaming services in such flux.
Yeah. I don't think there'll be a Skeleton Crew season 2 per se, but I think there could be further adventures with some of the characters from it.
Yeah, I think so.
That's what's likely to happen. Yeah.
Whether that's Will Fern, KB and Neil, or whether that's Jude Law's character who had multiple
Just a
names.
whole story based on Neil. That's what you need.
No, we'd all like to see Neil die, let's be honest. Strung up by his nose.
His little blue nose.
Something strange going on with his parents.
You think?
Yeah, his dad very rarely turned up, and any time his dad did turn up, he was standing next to Runa's mum. Just saying. just something I observed.
Well,
rewatch the finale, and you just check out how often Runa's mum's standing next to Neil's dad.
Filthy Skeleton Crew.
Yeah. And last in the comments this week, Gareth Edwards. Obviously exciting to see Gareth Edwards in news as he has a new Jurassic World project just about to release this coming week, I think it is.
Yeah.
And he was asked about Rogue One and the fact that people constantly sing his praise and say it's one of the best, one of the best Star Wars films and the Disney
She's
era.
exhausted.
I have. It's been a long day. And he doesn't necessarily agree with the fact that it's one of the best Star Wars films in the Disney era, but he appreciates people saying that, and he's grateful people say nice things. And he makes a comment, it's not about how people feel the day it gets released, it's how people feel about it 10, 20 years from now. When you make a movie, you're living at least a year from now. You're trying to imagine what it's like, all these decisions you're making, what they're going to be like a year from now when the movie's released. What's the audience going to think?
Yeah.
And as the movie comes out, you go, I'm going to pretend I'm living 10 years from now, and it doesn't matter what people say in the moment.
I think Rogue One was one of those ones that was universally pretty much loved from the off. And the fact that it was so loved is why we ended up getting 2 fantastic seasons of Andor.
I think so.
Without it, we would never have had that.
I think the fact that we see all the rebels die as well in the film is a big plus point. I think that's why people love rewatching it.
Exactly. There's nothing I like more than watching people vaporise.
Yeah, absolutely. It's justice, after all. Celebration of democracy, that's what we like to see. Peace and justice restored. The
Exactly.
Emperor's big energy project coming to fruition. It's wonderful. Wonderful stuff to see. And with that, that's the end of this week's news.
Oh, no.
But it's not the end of the show. Do not worry, people.
It's not. It's not.
Because it's time for The Death Star Cometh, our favourite segment of the week. And we get to speak about Andor, which has been streaming on Disney+. And we've now made it to episode 5, I Have Friends Everywhere. Excellent episode, I felt. And if we bring up some of the graphics as we talk about, and I've got the wrong graphic on the screen, I do apologise, everybody. Let's just get rid of that.
What's wrong with that?
I had the wrong title on there.
Oh, right.
But we kicked off the show with our horrible, scummy rebel traitors, Luthien and Kayla, and a little bit of friction between them. There's not a lot of love lost anymore.
No. But the one thing that puzzled me about this, because, I'm not one for doing such a thing, but why was he wearing his wig when he didn't need to wear it that day?
That's a good point. I don't know. Why do people wear wigs?
I don't know. You should just go au naturel.
That's exactly what I was just off to say. Doesn't make sense at all. But anyway, she's listening in to various bugs that he's got planted because he has no friends. He has no allies. He just has people that he uses and people that he manipulates. Horrible individual.
Scum. Utter scum.
Yeah, talking about scum, here's another one. Cassian Andor go into an underground broker, basically, to get him off planet. Dodgy looking guy, isn't he?
It's like Dolph Lundgren. What's
It is,
going on
just a little bit.
Yeah.
And he gets a shocking assistance by these people and heads off planet. And he's going to a place where that kind of individual deserves to live. He's going to Ghorman, of all places.
On his holidays. Oh, dear. Yep.
Mr. Newbold loved the exchange between Luthien and Clayla. The pressure coming down on them was very apparent. Too much info to cope with. Someone that's dealing with lots of information is the head of weights and measures on Ghorman. He's trying to keep those horrible Ghormans in line. But as a lovely, upstanding Imperial boy, he's got time to phone his mother, which I thought was sweet and charming.
Always concerned about his mother.
He was. And sadly for him, there were some horrible rebels listening in the conversation.
Ghorman, isn't it? She's from Ghorman.
Horrible Ghorman. Thankfully, with the glorious Galactic Empire in power, one of the security bureau that keeps people safe around the whole galaxy, they're on hand to assist Cyril. And they enter his offices and let him know that there's a bug and that there's going to be security measures put in place and checks made. And one of the horrible rebel agents, he's soon scarpers.
Is that Claire?
Could have been. No, it was one of the assistants in
How was it?
Cyril's office who was undercover, horrible
Right.
Ghorman rebel agent. Clayla, she's listening in meanwhile to some discussions on Chandrilla, where the future father-in-law has discovered that some of the items that he's got in his collection are fake. And this is putting pressure on Clayla because he's going to be checking all his items, and of course she's planted a bug in one of them.
Don't want that one going back, do we?
No, definitely not. A very good shout out here from Paul McHugh as well. He hopes to see Boffi and Poffi at Invasion 25 getting a photo up with dead Ramiro. Good shout.
Well, I suppose we could bring them out.
Okay. As Cassian heads off world, Cyril's returning to the office and he gives his staff a warning how they're all going to get interviewed by the ISB.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the Ghorman scummy rebels, they are investigating Cyril and they find out his past from Morlana 1 and how he had how they describe it as a dishonourable discharge. I describe it as an upkeep of standards.
I can't top that.
No. Starfury Invasion obviously coming to Birmingham in September 25, and there's already shout-outs for Boffi and Poffi to appear.
We could even sort of like put ourselves forward for photo ops.
That's very true. As the Ghorman rebels try to tap up Cyril, over in Coruscant we have Bix taking aim at the door of her apartment because she's one of these drugged up rebels, and Luthien has come to visit her sans wig, and
sans wig.
He basically kind of interrogates her, and she's worried that he's going to separate her from Cassian, and he kind of promises to give her some work. It's a difficult one. There's some controversial comments going on here. I think a burlesque show would be a thing that Mr. Newbold wants. We're learning a lot about Mark Newbold tonight. And the kind of videos that he looks for on the internet.
I would say we've got a very niche sort of clientele. Very, very niche.
We do. Luthian promises her a job, however, and we'll find out in the next episode of what that job is. Meanwhile, on Dakar, I think it is how you pronounce it.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Paul
Wilman.
Wilman, he's teaching one of Saw Gerrera's men how to harvest the gas. You know, fuel's a big thing. You know, that's why the Emperor was trying to push forward his big, beautiful energy project, because it's always about Tabana gas or something, you know, that people are trying to get their hands on. And poor Cyril, he's just trying to sort out all the problems on Ghorman. It's becoming quite pressure on him. And he gets cornered by the terrorist spider salesman once more. And he ends up buying a spider to give to his mum, because he's going to be heading back to Coruscant. How nice.
The gift that keeps on giving. Fantastic. Yeah. What a treat.
Meanwhile, on Coruscant, Cleo has been visited by the museum curator, and she's kind of warned in person about everything's going to be getting checked and where could these fakes have come from. And the pressure's building on Clayla's little world of scum and villainy. The Ghorman rebels have meanwhile been given information by Cyril of all the Imperial transports as the beautiful Galactic Empire are trying to improve administration function on the planet by building a new office. And the Ghorman rebels are determined to stop that. It's very sad indeed, isn't it?
They've chose some prime developmental land there, haven't they? They've done nothing wrong. They've chosen somewhere very, very, remote where they can build their offices. I don't see what the problem is. Shocking, really.
Yeah. As Mr. Newbold states, it's all about pressure building on all sides in this episode. Cassian Andor appears in Ghorman as a sleazy fashion executive.
Wonder how he managed to pull that one off.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And he looks out on the beautiful monument built in memory of Grand Moff Tarkin bringing justice to Ghorman many years ago.
His achievements.
For people who were protesting against the Empire, against democracy. And in one swift moment, Grand Moff Tarkin, the great man he is, cut that nonsense out. And you can actually see modern day protesters outside. And perhaps Mr. Krennic would like to do something similar and straighten these people out, I would recommend. And the bellhop tells a story about how he survived Tarkin's landing on top of the terrorists. And he seems quite upset, the bellhop, but all I can say is your dad was a terrible man who took you to a disgusting protest against the Empire and got what was coming to him, and you're lucky to still be alive.
And now you're just a bellhop.
Now you're just a bellhop.
Poor bellhop.
Anyway, back to civilization, back to the beautiful Coruscant here with Cyril. And he arrives back home and meets Daedra, who's very frosty reception. She gives him a little awkward kiss.
Yeah.
And
she wasn't happy to see him at all, was she?
No, she's using him, the poor boy.
Yeah.
He's a stand-up Imperial, and she's not to be trusted. She may be working for the Imperial Security Bureau, but I do not like her. And she basically insists on having sex with the lights off.
And if Cyril wants some, he can have some.
Yeah. I don't trust her. I wouldn't put the lights off. She'll probably have got someone else to come into the room. Not to be trusted, that lady.
Oh, dear.
Meanwhile, back in Ghorman, it's night there as well. And Cassian Andor meets with the local rebels straight away. These rebel scum know each other. They can smell each other, I think. And as Mr. Newbold points out, what happened with Tarkin's parking incident on Ghorman was like parents in 4x4s parking on the pavement next to a primary school. Not acceptable. Not acceptable. What?
I think very comparable.
If you're a parent in a 4x4 and you need to get parked outside a primary school and there's children in the way, get your car parked. That's all I'm going to say.
Get those kids out of the way.
Yeah. Horrible sleazy man is Cassian Andor, isn't he?
Oh, look at him. Look at him. Ugh. Sickly man.
Talking of lovely people, you know
Yes.
she's a Galactic Empire supporter, don't you? She's just a wonderful individual. And Edie, and her son has brought her a spider from Ghorman. Now, the present may be a little bit off because it's from Ghorman, but what you're going to get, because it's, Ghorman, everything's horrible. But it's the thought behind the present, isn't it, really? And
I think she accept it quite sarcastically.
She does a little bit.
Yeah.
He's tucking it into his cereal, obviously. He's like a good boy.
He loves that. He loves that stuff.
And then came a shocking moment in the episode.
Yes.
A programme called Good Morning Coruscant.
Good Lord.
Good Lord.
Where did they get that idea from?
I know,
Where
it's
did
like
they
it's
get-
like some writers just stolen someone else's concept.
It's like looking in a mirror. What's going on?
What kind of individual watches such programmes, though? Do you know? Someone that's got food and drugs all over the floor, lies in bed with a gun, drugged up to the nines. That's the
Still
kind
enough-
of people that watch Good Morning Coruscant.
Enough about Mark Newbold. Look at Bix doing the same.
Dear. Shocking.
Sorry, Mark.
Here's Mark asking the question, if Jedi robes were made in Ghorman, would that be the twill of the Force?
Oh,
That's the worst thing that's happened this evening. That's the worst comment. That's a worst comment.
that is, well, it's the worst thing.
Paul McHugh's asking the question, just wondering if James will take him back if we get cancelled tonight.
Funnily enough, Paul, we had
we
this
don't
discussion earlier.
If we don't get cancelled tonight, there's something wrong with fandom. That's all I can say. But yeah, drugs on the floor, food on the floor, gun in hand, watching trash TV. That tells you all about the character of Bix. No sympathy.
Oh, dear.
The galaxy is listening, and might the galaxy be listening, they'll be hearing the horrible Ghorman shouts and protest. And I would like to point out that Ghorman is a member of the Galactic Empire. Through its own democratic vote, it joined the Galactic Empire and remains a part of the Galactic Empire. There would be no Imperial forces on Ghorman if it were to leave the Galactic Empire. Very much a democratic Senate. So all these Chandrillans and Alderaanians, Ghormans complaining about the Galactic Empire, they chose to be there. And the only reason that they remain there is because the majority want to be there. And their voice is in the minority. Not once did any vote ever pass against Emperor Palpatine.
That we know of.
Never. Never happened. And all these planets that didn't like the work of the Galactic Empire could have chose to leave.
They'd have probably faced annihilation, but they could have chose to leave.
Not once was anyone ever There's many planets in the galaxy not part of the Galactic Empire.
Yeah.
What can I say?
We're going to be doing a leaflet drop about this.
We should do. There's an example of a Ghorman politician who's actually just a rebel.
Yeah.
And to remind you, one last image to remind you what the Ghormans are like. Look at them with their spiders and their spider webs.
That's like the bug in the amber in Jurassic
I do
Park.
make a compelling argument, Mr. Newbold. Something that needs answered is why all these so-called rebel worlds never actually voted to leave.
You might have something there, Buffy.
You could have had Gorm exit.
Go exit.
Didn't want to be there, get out. Oh.
I reckon it would have gone 52-48.
Anyway, back in Coruscant, Cyril, he's gone to the ISB with his so-called girlfriend, Dedra Miro, who I've grown to dislike, and is informing her of the latest going-ons in Ghorman and how he's infiltrated the local rebels. And it's time to bring swift justice, I think, to Ghorman once more. Meanwhile, on Dakar, Saw's agent, he's learnt, he believes, how to extract the chemicals. And he's going to do a demonstration shortly. On Coruscant, Luthien finally hears what's really going on with the pressure that's now being built on him and the potential for his listening devices to be discovered. So pressure is building, and we'll see the results of that next week. And on Ghorman, the rebels start plotting attacks on democracy, attacks on Imperial transports, and all they're trying to do is build a new administration block. It's very sad indeed. And as we point out, another rebel faction, violent rebel faction in Saw Gerrera, show off the fact that they've made progress and they know how to extract the chemical, and he gets shot for his work because Saw believes him to be a traitor, and indicates that they're now going to evacuate Dakar. Poor Wilman, he's trapped. Does Luthien care? No. That's how they just treated badly, the rebels. They don't look after their own.
Totally abandoned.
Yeah. The plotting continues on Ghorman. Horrible, horrible people. And Saw's men go stealing the gas. Saw likes supping on it because he's a mad one. He's a mad one.
That was bizarre, wasn't it? Didn't you think that? I mean, that wasn't how I saw Gerrera's character going. It was
as a manic drug-taking rebel.
Yeah,
that's how I think of them all. And he has Wilman take off his gas mask to sip up some of the gas himself, and he does a little guttural roar as he becomes another one of these Rido addicts that the rebellion's full of.
Oh dear.
Shocking.
Did they ever explain why Saw Gerrera loses bits and bobs before we get to Rogue One?
No, I think it's a consequence of Rido abuse.
I think it might be, yeah.
Mark Newbold, he's a fan of Huff and Rido, it looks like, as well. It explains a lot, that does.
It explains a massive amount.
Yeah. And that was this week's episode 5 of Andor. I have friends everywhere.
Yes.
And if you enjoyed that, the Death Star cometh as part of Good Morning Coruscant every week. Streaming live at 9 a.m. in the UK, 4 p.m. in UK, until we're cancelled. Which could happen this week, Paul or Buffy. Oh no, I've ruined it. I've almost got to the end and I ruined it.
Who's Paul? Who's Paul?
I don't know.
I'll pass on your kind regards to them, Buffy.
Oh dear. We've just got time to promote where people can get more content if they enjoyed this. Oh, some people are mad. Some people are into this.
Too into it.
Yeah.
Too into it.
You can go to fathertracks.com where you can get all your Star Wars news in a single file each and every day. covering everything Star Wars and Lucasfilm, from films, TV, collecting, fashion, gaming, literature, music and art, with interviews, event coverage, podcast reviews and controversial content like this.
And if you can be bothered to follow us on social media, there they are. There's the Instagram, the Facebook, the Threads, the X, formerly Twitter, and TikTok, where you can pick up all sorts of bits and bobs.
And if you want to not see the people that are presenting, which is sometimes advisable, search for Father Tracks Radio on your podcatcher of choice, where you'll get fresh content into your earbuds every single week. This week you've got a new Making Tracks on Tuesday, followed by either a Desert Planet Discs or a Start Your Engines on Friday. I guess that depends on whether a certain Paul Naylor gets his finger out and gets it recorded. But, you know, I've heard terrible things about Paul Naylor. Have you, Boffi?
I've heard only good things, but I have it on good authority. I believe Paul Naylor did record something earlier today with Mark Newbold about the TIE Avenger from Andor. So, fingers crossed, Mr. Newbold can get that edited in time.
Excellent. That brings us to the end of the show, Poffi.
I have to say, Boffi, I'm quite relieved.
We've made it. Well, we've been taken off air as yet. Although,
Not yet.
you know, things could happen post-show. All I can say, it's a good night from me.
And it's a very good night from her.
From
Good night.
her. Well done. You got it right.
Good night.